the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Good Friday morning to you, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast. Brett and Faith here with you, and always glad to see you on Fridays, and glad you tune into the Auburn Blitz Podcast whenever and wherever it is that you tune us in and make an Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Faith, as always, good to see you here on a Friday morning. A ton that we want to get into, and maybe a little Christmas in June, July. I know you do that kind of stuff, and we see those kind of things on TV. So we're going to have us a wish list here on a Friday. But how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Good to see you. You're at the beach.
Yeah, but at a conference. So, yeah, it's not like I'm out hanging out by the pool and kick back and all that. So, yeah, down here in Orange Beach at a conference. So I'm always somewhere. I mean, It's like all over the place. But glad to be here on a Friday morning. And before we get started, we always like to talk about our great partners. And we always start with Sensagreen.
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama, proud supporter of Auburn athletics and a proud supporter of the Auburn Blitz podcast. It's going to be hot. It's really hot today here in Auburn. So you want to get something reliable that's going to keep your AC pumping all summer. So call on Sensagreen. They're going to save you thousands of dollars on the installation of a carrier unit.
Yeah, it is absolutely getting brutal hot down here in Alabama for everybody. So get a carrier unit. You will not be disappointed. Scout Program Management, a full service construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama. Hung out with Sloan and Jay yesterday. Had dinner with them. Great people. And just a great company. Got all types of projects going on, multi-million-dollar projects. And they were talking to me last night, Faith, about some things that they've handled for some school systems and businesses that if they weren't in charge, they probably, those businesses probably could have lost $250,000 to $500,000 if they had not found some things. So that's why you hire Scout Program Management, for that exact reason. So if you got a big construction project coming up, call on Scout Program Management. They'll take you from the pre-construction planning stages all the way to the finished product. Great people. That's who you want to work with.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn, 27 different sports on their golf simulator bays. You can rent out even one of the private areas that they have with 3 different golf simulator bays so that you can host a party. They've got a private bar there too. So they've got 2 separate bars, plenty of golf bays that you can rent out with your friends and just hang out there because it might be too hot. Great food, happy hour deals all the time there. So go over to Bunkers. They've got 50 parking spaces downtown in the parking deck behind Bunkers. So go over there. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Can't say enough good things about them. All right, wish list. You know, we've been talking recruiting. There's some dates coming up, some commitment dates coming up here in the next couple of weeks, and some guys that we've been really eyeing and talking about and interviewing. And next week, you and I have a really busy week on the road again, going to see more prospects. So we'll be bringing you that. And but I just wanted to stop and go, okay, if I had 5 guys in this coming up class, if you had 5 guys in this upcoming class that you could say, that's 5 that I want to sign with Auburn. And again, these are 5 that you and I chose separately. We didn't know what we were choosing. You know, this was done completely different. We don't know what each of us have picked. That's what's so cool about it. And, you know, you could pick guys for whatever different reason, but I thought it would be cool to see who you would like as the top 5 guys that you'd like to see in the class, and the same for me. So, and feel free, anybody out there watching that's live with us, give us your 5, you know, in the comments. We'd love to hear that from you and see which ones. Now, again, this has nothing to do with where crystal balls have people right now and the odds of getting any of these guys. This is us just simply analyzing the prospects and going, okay, if I had to pick 5, these are 5 that I want in the class.
They would be a good addition to.
They would be a great addition.
26.
Great addition. No doubt about it. So I will, as a gentleman, allow you to get first on number 5, and let you tell everybody who your number 5 player would be.
All right, at 5, I have Zion Ely. I mean, I think he's what we've been talking about and seeing from him, and especially after, he came, I think he's just a good player, and just he was going to be able to add something to our team. And I mean, he's a big guy.
Still can. Don't talk him past.
6'3.5", 220. I mean, he's a big guy, and we talk about a lot of the guys from St. Francis Academy. But yeah, Auburn's still not out of the mix, even though Maryland has him.
Did you cheat and read my list?
Oh, yeah, I drove all the way down to Gulf Shores just to get your list.
I have Zion Ely at number 5. It's crazy. That is so wild. I have Zion Ely at number 5. I'll give my reasons. Number 2 player in the country, first of all. Did make an official visit to Auburn. The number 1 edge rusher. I've got another angle that I'm taking on my list. I think a lot of times, Auburn obviously signs really good players year in and year out, but from a national standpoint, out of the state of Alabama, I love it when Auburn's able to go out and get one of the top players in the country from another state. And I think that really, again, solidifies your brand. It solidifies, and it doesn't matter how you get them. You can be a connection through a coach. It can be whatever. But, you can go back to Byron Cowart, and people go, well, you didn't work out with Byron Cowart. He came here and he flopped out, whatever. But I remember exactly where I was when Byron Cowart said he was coming to Auburn. And at the time, he was the number 1 player in the country on a couple of different recruiting services. And I thought, man, that's awesome. Now, we know Will Muschamp had a lot to do with that. And when Will Muschamp left Florida and came to Auburn, Byron Cowart followed him. And that's just the way it goes. But guess what? We got DJ Durkin on our staff. He has got heavy ties to Maryland. And let's be honest, Zion Ely is looking at Auburn and is visiting Auburn because of those connections. And he's got some teammates that are looking at Auburn and that are currently on the roster at Auburn. So Zion Ely would be a massive pickup, in my opinion.
I agree. I think that's right. So number 4, I've got Tristan Keys. We've seen how dominant our wide receiver room is right now. And I think he would be a great addition to it. I know he's committed to LSU right now, but he still took that midweek visit, I think, right?
Yeah, he did.
And I mean, I think you go and you see how well these receivers have developed, and I just think he would be a huge addition with his talent.
He's the number 1 wide receiver in the country by most recruiting services. So yeah, that again, from a national standpoint, would be a huge pickup if Auburn were to get him. Now, again, this has nothing to do with where any of these recruiting services have him crystal ball to and where people really think he's going. These are just guys that you and I would love to see be part of this class. My number 4 is Braylon Womack. I think when you look at it from the state of Mississippi, Auburn's always really been able to go in and get some top players out of that state. And Auburn's got a legit shot at Braylon Womack. Now, again, Ohio State's where he's visiting this weekend. That's his dream school. We all know that. But his sister on the Auburn softball team, he's been to Auburn a bunch. He knows the lay of the land, and he feels really comfortable here. He's the number 1 safety in the country, the number 12 player nationally. So, again, from a national footprint, you go out and get the number 1 player at a position and a top 15 player nationally. Again, it speaks volumes for where your program is and the direction of your program. So that's my number 4.
My number 3 is Braylon Womack. And, just his athleticism, his IQ ability. We've seen some of our guys with their IQs And I just think he would fit in really well. And like you said, he's got a tie to Auburn, but also his dream school at Ohio State. So I don't know. I don't think we're done until December with any of these guys, but especially him.
Right. I mean, I kind of going in that same line of talk, Sedarian talking about, in that article that you and I talked about that Christian Clemente put out, that, he's going to wait in December and listen to what Auburn and maybe some other schools are going to do with their NIL and, how they divvy out the money. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of waiting and seeing for people, even though they're committing. A lot of these guys are going to keep their recruitment open. They're going to be traveling around during the fall to different schools, to different games. Before we get to our top three, we want to talk about some more of our partners here on the program. Again, couldn't do the show without them. Sure Shot in Alex City.
Sure Shot in Alex City, right up Highway 280. They've got all your firearm apparel and hunting needs. They sell and trade new and used firearms. It's always hunting season. Whether or not you want to buy a new gun, learn how to operate a handgun and do some target shooting or target practice, Sure Shot's going to be able to help you. Scott is going to be able to help you know what you're going to be doing, because it's always important when buying a firearm to know how to use it properly and when to use it. So calling them at 256-329-0080.
And I was going to throw something at you that I just found out yesterday. It's their third anniversary sale coming up this weekend. So
awesome.
From 11 to 2, they're going to have free food and drinks for people. They've got all types of different specials and all going on. So from all your firearms, and then of course they got Yeti products, Benchmade products, all types of different things. So go out and check out Sure Shot in Alexander City. Help them celebrate their third anniversary. Tell them Auburn Blitz sent you, and they'll hook you up on some stuff. I promise you they will. Oliver Ross,
your full bartending service needs. They're professional and licensed bartenders. If you've got a party of 20 all the way up to 20,000, Oliver Ross is going to be able to take care of you and your guest. So why don't you just stick to the hosting while they focus on the actual bartending services? And again, we've seen their Instagram recently with a bunch of different weddings and stuff with the beautiful weather. And why don't just focus on actually doing your hostessing and all of those things so that you don't have to worry about it.
No doubt about it. Great people at Oliver Ross. Okay. Keeping people on the edge of their seat. The number 3 player for you. We just talked about kind of a recap of our top. In our top 5, our number 5 and 4, mine was Zion Ely and Braylon Womack. Yours was Zion Ely and
Tristan Keys.
All right, number 3.
I said mine was Braylon Womack.
Oh, that's right. You did say it.
Yeah, you're on your number 3.
I'm on my number 3. All right, my number 3 is Manny Ihenacho. And again, I think getting a top offensive lineman in the nation. He's the number 2 interior offensive lineman in the country. Again, another Maryland product. But going out and being able to land somebody that's that impactful and that big a deal. I mean, we're talking about our offensive line this year being a strength of our team for the first time, and God knows when. And Xavier Chaplin is a transfer portal guy, and he's, by some prognostications, the number 12 pick in the draft, an early draft pick, looks. And again, when you have top players on your offensive line, Faith, you set up to have a really good football team. It's where it all starts. I mean, everybody knows that. So would love to see Manny Ihenacho. Again, that is a massive human being. We've heard Jason talk about him over and over. He's the guy you want. If you could pick somebody to get off the bus first, as I said before, you want Manny Ihenacho getting off the bus first.
Yeah, I have him actually at my number 2. I just think with his lower body strength, his hands, he's got so much just power coming from him, and he played basketball too, and so just that different kind of athleticism that he's got, I think is going to be really big, and be able to just really add a ton. And like you said, it starts at the offensive line, so that's where you make things happen. And I think he would be a huge addition to Auburn.
No doubt about it. All right. So far we've kind of been on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 2 for me is Tank Jones. And look, I think he's a guy that has really shown how much he likes Auburn. He's been there multiple times. Came up for A-Day. It was a surprise visit that day. So, just always finds a way to get back to Auburn. And when you just keep showing up, it really means that you got some type of bond or some type of pull there. And he's the number 2 player in the state. And you and I talk about this all the time. I think it's important for Auburn to always do well in the top 10 in the state. They did unbelievable last year. Probably the best they've ever done. And obviously more pressure by other schools this year to not allow Auburn to just come in and basically do a clean sweep. So Tank Jones is a priority, but he's a priority for a lot of schools, and he's a priority for Alabama. So you've already talked to him. You had an interview with him a couple of months ago. I thought it was great. And a lot of people are very, very interested in seeing if he'll make a commitment before football season starts or if he's going to wait and do it later on. But I'm telling you, Tank Jones, a great in-state kid from the Mobile region, just always screams success. So I think he's a priority, and I've got him at number 2.
At my number 1, with no shock, I think, from anybody, is Sedarian. In-state guy, also just one of our favorite people ever. He's so awesome. I really like him on the field. He's so talented, and he just, watching him at 7-on-7 and stuff at Ben Russell, just seeing how talented he is and just his athleticism, he would make that huge addition to that wide receiver room at Auburn. And just off the field, he's one of the nicest people ever, he's just so awesome. I love talking to him. I love just being able to be around him. And so he's my number 1. So I don't think that comes to a shock.
No, it's not. And to kind of add to what you said, man, he's always smiling. Again, he's one of those guys that, when you run into him, he's already kind of laughing a little bit and smiling. And, Malcolm's that way, and again, that's a testament. They both are very close, from the same school. And you just want to be around people like that, people that always find a way to look at things with a glass half full mindset. They always pull out the best in other people. They're always looking to pick other people up. They're not selfish. Okay, drum roll. This was the most obvious pick in the world for me too. Sedarian, and my ties with Ben Russell, and just knowing him since he was a little kid, and again, seeing him grow, and then knowing in middle school that he had a chance to be the best, highest ranked player coming out of Benjamin Russell. And he's lived up to that. I mean, he is a strong 5-star player that everybody in the country wants. And again, he's right up the road from Auburn. And Auburn has had a pipeline from Benjamin Russell for the last 25 years. And they have been able to feed Auburn's program with really talented players that have gone on to be on some really good teams, a la the 04 team and the 2010 national championship team, and some teams in between. So, I always want to get the number 1 player in the state. This one's a little bit more special this year because of our connection and that. So, Sedarian, we want him to be successful wherever he goes. We'd love to see him in orange and blue come this fall when he makes a decision.
The right orange and blue.
The right orange and blue, no doubt about it. There's some other nasty orange and blues out there that we won't talk about. But yeah, we'd love to do that. So that's our 5, everybody. And if you got 5, feel free to give those out there, or who you think Auburn may get. We've also got a couple other players that you and I talked about. We can't ever just stop at 5. So if you had to add a couple of guys to the list, who would be one you'd add to the list?
I would add Landon Duckworth. He's somebody that, an in-state guy that I think, we've got a real chance with, and just his talent and ability, especially after you hear how His Elite Eight went in California. I'm excited to actually be able to go and talk to him. So I just think he adds a lot to
Right.
Auburn.
Elite 11.
Is that what I said?
You said Elite 8. I think you're still in basketball mode.
Oh, I meant Elite 11. Sorry.
It's easy to say Elite 8 because that's what you talk about in basketball. But the Elite 11, yeah, he did. I mean, after the first couple of days, man, he was, by a lot of analysis, was up there at the top
Yeah.
1 or 2, 3 quarterbacks out there. So, but yeah, jumping back in the mix, I had him as one as well. Again, quarterback, a need in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Not imperative that you sign a quarterback this year, but man, if you could get the number 6 quarterback in the country and he be a top player in the state, which he's been bumped up to number 3 by 24/7. So yeah, if you're gonna get a quarterback in the class, this guy's the one you want. If you're Auburn, and they've been pursuing him, and now he's narrowed it down to 2 teams, and Auburn legitimately has a shot at this thing. So that's one. Is there another one that you'd like to add? One more?
Tank Jones. I mean, you said him. He was in your top 5, but yeah, he's definitely right up there. Just everybody wants him, and he's a great player. And going and talking to him, he was also such a nice kid. But I think he's high on Auburn.
Yeah, he's definitely high on Auburn. I've got Trenton Henderson from Pensacola, Florida. I think he is kind of. I mean, he's a 5-star. Very talented, Auburn being in the proximity of Pensacola. I mean, it's not too far. And, he's a guy that really is picking up steam with a lot of other schools as well. And if you can go out and get another very talented defensive line, edge rush guy, you always take those guys. We know how heavy this year is with edge rushers, Faith. We talk about it. Seems like every week. And he's another one of those. So, I mean, we've named off Tank Jones and Zion Ely and Trenton Henderson. I mean, you just can't get away from these edge rushers this year. And there's some other ones out there that we'd love to have too that we didn't even mention. So, all right. So another angle on this, if you're looking at your 5 to 7 that you named off, how many does Auburn land out of that group?
Oh, geez.
I mean, just looking at it off the hook. Now, again, Auburn is way down the list for several of these guys, for me and you. So realistically, it's not a high percentage of guys. How many do you think what would be a good realistic number out of your 7 if they could get?
Out of my 7, I say 2.
That's where my mind was. Exactly. Yeah. If you get 2 of those guys, a combination of that, and I think our lists are very similar. There's a couple of differences here and there, but if you get 2 of any of those on these 2 lists, you're way off and running to another top 10 class in the country.
Who's your 2 that Auburn's going to get?
I'm going to say, if I had to roll the dice, I'm going to say Tank Jones, and it's either Landon Duckworth or Braylon Womack.
Okay.
That would be. So I gave 3, but okay. I really think it'd be one of those 2 or of those 3 right there. What about you?
I was going to say Landon and Sedarian.
I'm glad. Hey, look, definitely no complaints there at all. And I definitely think Auburn, depending on how they do this year, will have a huge. Hey, look, if Auburn has a stellar year, it could be more than 2.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Momentum is huge in everything.
Auburn has to have a good year, and everyone knows that. But I really thought I thought you would have said Sedarian.
Well, I think a lot has to do with, again, I think Sedarian, I kind of want to go away from him since I talk about him so much, and everybody knows I'm a homer with that. So, but I do truly feel like Tank Jones and Braylon Womack are 2 guys that Auburn can really get that are impactful players in this list. So I still am going to stick with. And I've got something else to throw out there for you to think about. But first, before we do that, we want to talk about a couple more of our partners and Old Number One Customs.
Old Number One Customs. If you have an outdoor a living area, if you've got a bathroom or a kitchen that, you want to have completely renovated, Old Number One Customs is going to be able to go in there within 2 weeks and get in and out of your house so that they can fully redo that for you. Brett's going to be a testament to that here shortly. And honestly, don't DIY it in 2 years. Get it done in 2 weeks with them, because you don't want to just take on that really difficult task. Why do that when Old Number One Customs can go in and do it?
And they'll do it right, and you'll screw it up. So, JFA Blue.
JFA Blue Plumbing, they're going to be able to go in and put a Home Atlas water filter duo, and they're going to be able to make sure you have filtered water out of every single faucet in your house, which is a great thing to have, because come on, you don't want to have not filtered water. That's bad and not good for you. So calling them at 844 JFA Blue.
All right, not to look forward. Again, we try to concentrate about what's going on right now, not worrying about stuff 6-7 months down the line. We talk about the schedule and it being favorable this year, and we talk about the importance of Auburn winning this year and what's on the line if they don't win, and what can happen if they do win, and how much better things could be. You don't want to look at next year's schedule, probably. You talk about the way it sets up good this year. It could be rough next year with the road trips. And so, again, not putting any more pressure on this year to win, but if you've ever needed to maintain momentum recruiting-wise and building your roster and not having a turnover in staff and all that kind of crap, win and keep this thing going in the right direction, because next year the schedule's going to be tougher just because of the flip-flop of some of the places that you're going to have to go. And there's some stretches in this year's schedule you and I have talked about that are tough, but next year's schedule is going to be, in my opinion, way tougher. Now, I'm not going into detail on all that right now because we're in June of this year. We ain't even started. We're still a couple months away from kickoff of our of this season. So I'm just saying, another fallout potential of not playing well this year and things being flipped up on its head. You do not want to go into next year's schedule with a bunch of uncertainty. I just tell you that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it all has to do with just getting through this season and the first half of the schedule being successful, being able to have momentum going into the back half, because it's going to be tough.
Definitely going to be tough. So, again, we'll wait and see. There's a lot of waiting and seeing, and we're almost to July. It's crazy. This summer is just rocketing right on by. Again, want to kind of promote for you a On the Front Row episode that'll be coming out.
Yes, today at 2 with Malcolm Simmons. He's awesome. Love getting to talk to him and sit and laugh and listen to, what it's like inside the locker room right now.
First football one you've done for all athletes. So, and look,
glad I got to do it with him. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is awesome. And again, when you look at Malcolm and how good of a year he had last year and the importance of him this year in this wide receiver room, he's part of the reason this wide receiver room is loaded. I mean, this guy is so versatile, and I'm looking to him. I'm looking for him to have an unbelievable season this year. I know a lot of talk on Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton, and rightfully so, but Malcolm Simmons for a lot of teams would be their number one receiver. That just tells you how deep this wide receiver room is, and I'm looking forward to it. And you'll hear in Faith's interview with him, he sets high standards and goals for himself, even in a room where they don't look at each other any differently, Cam and Eric and all the rest of them, but he wants to be the best in the country, and you'll hear him talk about that. And I think that's huge. I mean, why can't he be the best wide receiver in the country?
Yeah.
And he could. And so new quarterback and all types of different things. So it's kind of a new a new era for everybody on the offensive side of football this year. But he's going to bring a lot to the table there. So exciting about that. And then next week, you and I get started early on Monday. We head up to Huntsville to catch up with Hezekiah Harris. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm going to have a lot to choose from next week for which on the front row I want to post. So if anybody has any request of inside the top 10, I've got 4 we're filming next week. So let me know.
4 interviews and from literally one end of the state to the other. So going to be a lot of fun. But again, it is going to be burning the road up. That's what we do. It's just nothing for me to drive 4 or 5 hours now. I guess I'm getting in training mode for fall. I guess that's what's going on there. I think the good Lord's like, hey, I'm kind of training you, prepping you for some of these road trips that y'all are about to go on. So but we're looking forward to it. It's good to go to these communities and see these kids and talk to them. And I would be remiss to say, and I didn't mention him in my group, and you didn't either, but Vodney Cleveland is a guy that both of us would love to have at Auburn, and I think he's very important for Auburn's class. I do. I think Vodney Cleveland is a stellar person now that we've sat down and talked to him and been able to be around him. Now, I don't like the crystal ball of him going to Texas right now and him changing this announcement date and moving it up. Really, tomorrow is when he's announced.
Yeah, it is tomorrow.
So, again, I don't think his recruitment will be over if he picks Auburn or if he picks Texas or if he picks whoever. But he is one of the top players in the state. And his teammate, Jordan Crawford, we know how important he was to this past class and what he's going to be able to do immediately. He's going to get in the rotation immediately.
Yeah.
So would love to see Auburn get Vodney Cleveland from Parker and maybe create a pipeline from that juggernaut up there in Birmingham, because that is a football factory too. So, but from you and I talked about this the other day, from a personal standpoint, all the kids have been great, but I think you said Jaquez and Vodney and Sedarian, those 3 have been your 3 top interviews to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're awesome. They're just some of the sweetest guys. And I think they've got a really good head on their shoulders and they know what they want going into this fall. And they've got the right outlook on all of this, just with how much the NCAA is changing and the opportunities they're being given. I think they really have the right mindset, which is important.
No doubt about it. So, all right. Well, we are headed into the weekend and again, just getting ever so closer to the start of this football season. And I mean, so literally, what are we about 25 days away from media days, Faith? 25?
Yeah.
So,
crazy.
Tubbs said, look at our D-line coach, though. Vodney would be doing the coaching. Same with Sed Morgan, Marcus Davis. Well, I mean, it's very apparent, Tubbs, you're not very confident in our coaching staff, but we'll see how things play out this year. So I think again, time's going to tell everything. And I will say this about Marcus Davis, since you brought him up. He is in Alex City today, speaking to a huge community youth group that's going out into the community to help. It's called Project 412. And I think there's over 250 youth that'll be going out throughout surrounding communities around Alexander City, basically repairing houses, doing yard work, just good old helping your neighbor stuff. And Marcus was asked to come and do basically a devotional this morning. He texted me this morning and was on his way into Alex City and was just fired up about the opportunity to be able to come up and honored to be able to talk. So look, I think the world of Marcus Davis, and I watch him get out here and have these relationships with these kids and all. So I won't be saying anything bad about him because that's stuff he didn't have to do. And that's stuff a lot of these guys don't have to do, but they do. And there's no ulterior motive behind it. It's just, hey, they got meetings, they got all kind of stuff going on today, and he makes the time to come up and share, 20, 25 minutes with these kids and how important it is for them to, and kind of pat on the back of, hey, you're doing the right thing. You're taking time out of your Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to go out and help your neighbors. So that's a good thing.
Very important. Great guy.
Absolutely. So, all right, heading into the weekend, it's hard not to smile. We hope everybody has the
best day ever.
And a big old
War Eagle.